Oh my god. Troll 2! I'm sure no one's ever talked about this one on YouTube before. Um, this is like, one of the holy grails of bad moviedom. It's been talked about to death. There's a whole documentary about the making of this movie. You know all the beats to it. I don't know if I've ever talked about it before. I'm sure I have. But it was playing tonight at the Emmaus Theater where I saw Life Aquatic, and where Metz and I went and saw Sallow. I got done work. I had nothing else to do. Nobody wanted to come with me. So, how dare people? How dare people not want to spend their Friday night watching Troll 2 with me? I gotta get friends. I gotta get friends or a hobby. It's been bummed, man. There's like nothing to do when I'm not working. The movie's not moving as fast as I want it to, and the comic's not moving as fast as I want it to. And I'm getting fucking depressed, and I'm going to see Troll 2 by myself on the big screen. It's DCP, so it looked really good. There's only like maybe 10 people here, and the reason that I wanted to come out tonight, I was like, all right, even if I'm the only one here of my ilk, this is a movie that's fun to watch with a crowd. And unfortunately, there was no crowd, and people weren't really. I know the beats of this. Oh my god! And you can't piss on hospitality, and that's the devil's drink, and all that kind of stuff. Like all the beats of this movie, I know them because I've seen this movie so many times. Like I said, the third time I've seen it on the big screen, but I distinctly remember renting it as a kid. And being like, what the fuck is this? Because I had seen the first Troll as a little kid. It's got Sonny Bono in it, and it's got Julia Louis-Dreyfus in it. It's got Harry Potter in it, and Harry Potter Jr. J.K. Rowling not only hates trans people, but she also just straight up ripped off Harry Potter from the movie Troll, Charles Band movie. This is the sequel, Troll 2, yet there are no trolls in Troll 2. They're goblins. It's made by Claudio Fragasso and his wife or his partner. I met both of them at the AFM in 2019. They made it for Film Mirage, which made Ghost House, which is another one of my all-time favorite sleazy movies. Under the Bruno Mattei. No, was it Bruno Mattei or Joe D'Amato? One of them was the head of that studio. And he wanted a horror movie, but no blood in it, so they put green ooze instead because the director's wife, all of her friends had become vegetarians, and it pissed her off, so she wrote this movie about goblins that are vegetarians, so they have to turn people into plants before they can eat them, which just seems like an extra step, if you've seen the documentary, you know all the backstory of this. You know that, it was an Italian crew that went to Utah and made a movie with people, and the script was translated poorly, and the Italian crew really didn't communicate properly with the Americans, and everything comes off like this weird stilted fever dream, and of just like the worst community theater actors you've ever seen. And just stilted acting and poor blocking, and there's something so surreal about it that it works in that same level as a Manos: The Hands of Fate, or a Things, or Plan 9 from Outer Space. Like, it's in that parlance of those types of movies. Is this the most fun bad movie? It's up there, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite of all time. I'd say my favorite bad movie of all time would probably be Dracula vs. Frankenstein, 1971, or probably Plan 9 as well, because that one's just endlessly rewatchable. But so is this. I was just bummed that nobody was getting into it. Like, nobody was, laughing at the things and stuff like that, and it just seemed like the wrong crowd for this type of movie. And it's cool to drive into a small town. This theater is about 20 minutes away from my house, and I come here because they do, random shit. And to have Troll 2 on the marquee, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, man. But I don't know, this is the kind of movie that's more fun with other people. I do love when Laura Gemser's credit pops up on screen. It was she did costumes. The actress who's known for being naked in pretty much everything that she's ever done. Black Emmanuel, the Porno Holocaust, Erotic Nights of the Living Dead, you know, but she did costumes later in life because of her connection to Joe. So I guess it would be Joe D'Amato then, who did it because of Film Mirage. I don't know. I get so bad with names after a while. Like, my head is just full of nonsense, and I'm trying to make it fit. But yeah, I mean, I still get a kick out of this movie. I even knowing all the backstory of it and seeing it when I was a kid and not quite understanding what the fuck it was supposed to be when I was a kid. Like, I remember seeing it at a sleepover at this kid Brian Riley's house, because I remember the cover is like a kid who's not the Jonathan from the movie, and it's like on the steps holding a teddy bear. There's like a little monster at the bottom, and then, you know, the first troll had the troll holding the ball, and that was Von de Carlo, Phil Von de Carlo or something like that. He was also in Ghoulies 2, which is my favorite Ghoulies movie. Did a lot of the Charles Band stuff. He was in a movie called Little Creeps, I think it was, that had like little people, but they were Dracula, the Frankenstein, the Mummy. And I remember seeing that cover in like the 5th grade and being like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Being that I'm a short person too, I was like, finally, representation. But yeah, I remember us renting Troll 2 because of that cover, and then watching it and being like, are we high? Like, you know, it's, you know, that was the early days before, like, I called, like, YouTube movie reviews for these kind of stuff, like, there's, like, a nuclear arms race. Like, you have to keep finding things worse and worse and worse, to the point where it just deludes everything. Whereas I remember watching this stuff as a kid, and, like, we would just fucking laugh and be eating junk food and stuff like that, and then you would tell somebody else about it, and then you'd bring them back, and you'd run it again, or you'd hope that it's available. The video store in my neighborhood that we used to ride our bikes to was called B&C Video in Marlton, New Jersey, and they had so much of this, like, horrible movies, because there's a mom and pop video store, and they just had bargain bin stuff. So we found, you know, the Video Dead there, and just all the stuff that I still love to this day. You know, saw I don't know, whatever. I did start rambling off fucking movies. But yeah, it's just, you know, I distinctly remember the very first time I ever saw this, and then not really thinking about it for years. Because, you know, it wasn't like a Mystery Science Theater type movie or something like that. And then it found this whole second life when the documentary came out about it, to now the point where it is sort of mainstream. I always forget MGM put it out too. When you see the MGM logo before this, you're like, oh yeah, it's the most professional thing in this movie. It's a bizarre film. If you've never seen it before, you've probably seen the oh my god meme. You know, I'd say it's as famous as the kid going over the cliff in the wheelchair in Mac and Me, which is another movie we did. Actually, no, Mac and Me, my parents took me to see it in the theater. I begged them to see it, and then they were mad at me the entire ride home. I'll never forget that. But yeah, I don't know. It was, I don't know, you can't really talk about this movie. It's been talked about to death. There's literally nothing else you could possibly say about Troll 2 that hasn't been said by someone far more entertaining and popular. You know, the fact that nobody wanted to show up tonight, I think, was my first indicator that, I don't know, it's fun to see this on the big screen, but without other people, and then the crowd was very subdued. Like, Sallow got a bigger reaction than this, but I think that was just because Metz and I were having a really good time with how fucking vile that movie is. Yeah, I don't know. It's you know, it's not my favorite bad movie of all time, but it's definitely in the top echelon of bad movies. You know, just bad movies that are fun to watch, but when you have other people watching them with you. So I guess the moral of the story is Newt needs friends, and people who will come and watch bad movies with me. Because before I got here, I left work and I was like, I'm gonna go get something to eat. And like, there's a bar in this town, but I was like, I don't want to go to this bar by myself and look like a fucking loser. So instead I went to this diner and sat there by myself like a fucking loser. But I'm like sitting in the car, like on like on my phone. I'm like, should I go in? Maybe I'll just get something at the concession. Like, I'm getting to that point now where, like, I'm in such a malaise that I don't know what I want to do. If I'm not working or I'm not working on movie stuff, I feel like I'm just, like, non-existing, you know, or I'm going to the movies by myself to see Troll 2. I am a mess, guys. And it always seems to rain every time I come here, too. But yeah, all right, that's me rambling about Troll 2. What's your favorite bad movie of all time? They got other stuff they're going to be doing here soon. Hopefully I can get some people to come out with me and hang out. So, you know. Yeah, because nobody even wanted to go see Fantastic Four with me last night. I went by myself, and one of my employees just so happened to be there and sat directly behind me. So the entire movie... it's a raccoon climbing on... just came out of the woods. Interesting. It's like, is that a cat? But, yeah, so he was asking me, he's like, who's that guy? How's that connected to Doomsday? And I'm just like, okay. So I had to explain it to him after the movie. I don't know. I'm tired. All I do is work. And apparently I don't work enough because the owner's like, you weren't there on Monday and Tuesday. And I was like, I know, it was the slowest days, and I took a vacation. I went to New Jersey and hung out with my ex-girlfriend Amber and my friend Steve that I haven't seen since high school. And they're trying to guilt me on not being there for 2 days when I'm salaried. I'm 40 hours a week, but I work way more than 40 hours a week. And then every moment that I'm not working, I'm working on trying to get the movie finished and trying to figure out what the fuck to do with the next movie, but I have no inspiration right now to write. And I was hoping coming to see something like this would, like, spark me into wanting to do something kind of sleazy and cheesy and stuff like that, but quite the contrary. Now I'm just sitting here boo-hooing. No one should be sad coming out of Troll 2. But alright, this is the worst movie review of the best worst movie. Bye.